So Bitcoin has finally bounced for us off quite a big zone. Now the question is this the bottom, or is there more downside? And how are we going to play these altcoins that have started moving higher? So guys, we got such a banger lined up here. Let's go. And remember, as always, hit that like, hit the bell, and hit the subscribe. Now, today is Tuesday, which means we do have some other guests as well. In fact, I've got 3 guests today, but the first one is obviously the Muscles. You guys know it's Tuesday, fresh out of Amsterdam, carrying the hangover still, sir. How are you feeling?
Feeling absolutely fantastic. A little bit jet lag, but other than that, pretty good. Confused on the Asia session and the London session today, but all good.
What a ride. What a trip. And Mr. 𝗵𝗵𝗏 is in the house. Here he is. And he's in green today. You trying to send us to 0? What's
Well, Uncle Rand called a bear market today, so I'm in green.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's not wrong, I guess, but we had to ride the moves. Okay, we had to play the moves. Now, guys, I've got another special guest for you. He's actually making his debut today, so just give him a warm welcome, because he's a little friend of mine, and he's here to help us along the way. Okay, he's going to help you guys. He's a hardened trader. He's been around the block, this man. Okay, so let's take a look at my other special guest.
Get some airtime, do I? Finally made the cut, huh? Thank you, oh Lord Dylan, supreme ruler of entries and exits, for gracing me with your spotlight.
Mr. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
Your timing couldn't be better. We might be at the beginning of the bear market, and you think now is a good time to give 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏s his chance to impress people. What do you want from me in these conditions? A long, a short? How about go cry in a corner until this is done, and then come give me another shot? Better yet, you show me what you've got, Lord of Entry. Hopefully it's better than that party trick you showed us last Christmas.
Oh, Mr. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Okay, so he's ready to go now, this guy. Okay, he's going to be the sidekick. He's going to be dropping you guys a couple of trades. He's going to drop you guys a couple of setups, and we're going to have a ton of fun with Mr. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. He's also got his own view on the markets and things like that, and yeah, he's got a couple of things up his sleeve. So we're going to make we're going to spend some time with him over the next couple of months, and we're going to see how everything goes. Now, let's get into the news. Okay, what is actually going on here? The market is absolutely pumped off some amazing zones, and some of the levels that we covered yesterday absolutely ripped off some of those bangers. Some of them actually dropped a little bit lower, put us under a bit of pressure. Like Bitcoin really put us under pressure, but Sol hit that 𝗕𝗵 perfectly. Let me know in the chats who got some Sol action yesterday. In fact, who got some 𝗏𝗏 as well. That was a bit of a banger. So guys, let me know if you guys survived any of that dumpage that we had there yesterday. Overall, you can see 𝗏𝗏 is pumping. Now, there is some event coming up with 𝗏𝗏, some combo with Binance and things like that. So we can see 𝗏𝗏 is gearing up 9%. We are still long here on 𝗏𝗏. I've got that chart for you guys. We're going to be covering a couple of the levels. ICP, I gave it as a when entry yesterday, but we didn't actually hit the entry, but that thing absolutely ripped. So that is taking off now on some of the AI news or the AI flavor. But pump hit our lower zone, just above that 27 that I was looking at yesterday. But overall, guys, I would say nice to have a little bit of relief in the market. So let's jump into BTC and let's just figure out what is going on. Okay, Ralph says 93K has been taken. Okay, well, here we are. What I did today was, after dumpage like that, the data is pretty difficult to look at. So I've gone into the 30-minute time frames to really break some of these down for you guys. And the simple game plan here is to track this beautiful bounce that we are getting on BTC and exercise caution at key levels. Okay, so the first level that we are pushing into now at the moment, 93,400. This is a typical danger zone for BTC. And Carlos is feeling bullish. Look at this. He's sending us to 100K. Geez, Carlos, I would love that. My longs would thank you if we go to 100K. James's eyes nearly just popped out of his head right now. He was so shocked, but that would be lovely. Okay, so guys, 93,400. If you are sitting in longs in terms of danger zones, this is one of them. Then in terms of our next danger zone, 94,700, this is going to be a trouble area. Look at that. I've got a VWAP coming in here, and I've got my 0.5 and a trend on BTC. So we can see immediately, and you tie that in with this undercarriage over there, we can see immediately 94,700 is going to be a bit of an issue. So if we carry on moving, remember the no euphoria zones, the zones where we need to be super careful with how we are operating. So far, 93,400, more 700, and then I've got an upper band over here, which is a nice 618 pool as well. We've got 96 100. Okay, so what is the plan now? If we do push into those zones, number one, that could be a rejection that actually sends Bitcoin a little bit lower down. We're going to debate this 3-day chart in a minute here. Jay's also got his views on what he thinks is going to come next for BTC. So one of these rejection zones could, for example, be the move that drops us to new lows. But obviously the trader's dilemma is one or two of these rejection zones could be the ones that just drop us into bullish support that we can look for a continuation bounce as well. So typically what you want to do now in scenarios like this, and I'm going to cover it on a lot of these altcoins going up today, is all you want to do is you want to go to your lows from whatever token you're following, go to your lows, drag your fib up to wherever you're seeing these rejections, just drag your fibs up there. And what you want to see is tie in with your VWAP as well from the lows. And ideally, for me, the bull zone is generally the 382 into the 0.5 fib. So if we can get either one of these here to hold along the way, then the bulls can look for longs in these types of areas. Okay, so right now as things stand, 91.6 to 91.1 would be a high conviction bull zone for me. That's the combination of the VWAPs. Okay, so you've got your ping pong zones to deal with now if you are the bulls. And remember, if you are looking for shorts, guys, and you catch a couple of these, there's nothing wrong with holding some of them if they do drop us a lot lower. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the 3-day chart in a minute. I've got a little bit of macro news for you guys, and then we got to cover a lot of these stocks. There's a couple of crypto stocks that I've started building some longs on at the moment that I think you guys might be interested in. We're going to be able to trade them on BTCC and BitGet as well. There's now a fee deal on BitGet for you, so I'm going to show you that. Then we are covering a lot of these altcoins. I've got ETH, I've got Sol, I've got Asta, I've got Hyperliquid, I've got Virtual. I'm sure Jay's got a ton as well. We've even got 𝗬𝗰𝗸𝗏 and Aero from yesterday that both hit the zones, and they are both bouncing now. So hopefully some of you guys got some of that action. Okay, so let's get into the news, and then we're going to crack on with the rest of the show. Okay, so let's start with lickies. Now, on a day like this, I would expect a fair amount. Okay, so 790 again, James, doesn't get you out of bed anymore though. Hey? It's like constantly
was normal now, yeah. And it's been brutal. So much money being lost here. It's like, man, when does this stuff run out? It's crazy.
We were 700 yesterday, but the casino continues. It's the 50x and the 100x. Yeah, it just keeps coming. But guys, these are big numbers. It wasn't long ago where $1 billion liquidation event was a monster move in the crypto market. Like, it was eye-opening. Now it seems to be a standard play at the moment. Okay, so McDonald's, well, I suppose the pattern could be playing out there. Little bounce there on Macca's. I was saying yesterday, the actual McDonald's chart is looking bullish. So if we are going to go into a bear market, I shit you not, this McDonald's chart might literally be breaking out to the upside. So that is definitely going to be an interesting one. I see Mia, who waited for Sol for so long. She said she's taken profits on Sol, too scared of a round trip. Mia, I'm going to cover you guys with that Sol chart. Now, is this the sign of a market top? Now, normally I would say this is the top of the market, but I mean, we've been dumping all day long. But there's my new parking bay at Vanta HQ. Okay. Is this a sign when you get your parking bay labeled for you? Is it the sign of the top? Jay, top in, bro. I mean, are we
100% top is in?
I mean, this is terrible. Okay, so guys, apologies on my behalf. I mean, I'm sorry that I potentially am sending us all back to zero here. Okay, that's a bad fucking sign with McDonald's, says Cole. Yes. Okay, let's see what's going on here. So obviously the internet news, Cloudflare outage impacting millions of people all over the world. X was down, which is our source of the most trustworthy, truthful crypto information. So, you know, we missed out.
Truthful or not, though. I was honestly a bit panicked when I got up this morning. My routine is to go see what is crypto Twitter saying. Is anything blown up? And went, oh, it's not working. I didn't know what to do with myself.
Panic. Okay, absolute panic when X goes down. We can't talk shit all day on X. Okay, so Cloudflare is causing problems. I just want to say, is this going to be an excuse for the exchanges to liquidate everybody again?
I was a little concerned.
Cloudflare.
Yeah, I thought, something's happening. We're going to have another dump here while the internet's down.
Okay, so guys, remember, if everyone gets liquidated and they shut down the exchanges and there's a massive capitulation event, they're going to blame it on Cloudflare. Okay, so look out for that. It's a valid reason. okay, when the internet goes down. Now, Trump has announced his $2,000 stimulus checks. We know about this. We've been talking about this, and he's saying distributed in the middle of 2026. So the man is getting serious about that. We have covered like the possible liquidity into the market, but it's for a certain income bracket as well. And you know, if you're getting $2,000, it's not like you're going to go and ape the whole thing into Netflix or into like Fartcoin. So you know, maybe a portion.
For groceries this week. Thank God, a check's coming 6 months from now.
Yeah, so exactly, guys. So a portion maybe is going to go into the market. So I don't think it's necessarily super bullish for, you know, all the risk on markets, but you never know, okay? And the current situation from 𝗵𝗵𝗏 letter, US has got the stimulus checks. Japan is prepping $110 billion stimmy. China's approved $1.4 trillion stimmy. Fed is officially ending QT. The US issuing blah, blah, blah. Long story short, in what world is another wave of inflation not on its way? Okay, so yes, you know, short-term gain, longer-term pain. I don't know, guys. Like, it's not looking good at the moment. But in terms of things not looking good, NVIDIA, we got some earnings coming through tomorrow. It's just dropped into the 182 zone, and I have started a long position. Now, we've got earnings tomorrow. There's normally a 7% swing or something around those numbers on NVIDIA on earnings days, something to look out for. So I am sniffing around here, 180 down to, you can even go as low as, say, these wicks, 176, if you want to have a crack with me on NVIDIA. And remember, you can do this on BitGet or on BTCC. The show link is in the description here for you guys. And I'm now long Netflix. Let's see what happens if we do start losing levels. I think it's a very simple play here, and we're going to look for this bounce at around about this 164 region. I don't think they're going to continue to kill us on something as big as NVIDIA. I think the apes are going to come. They'll come and step in here. It's very rare that you see this thing start falling over. Now, one of the warning bells, obviously, for us at the moment is the VIX. This is the volatility index. This thing is absolutely cooking, and we haven't seen a move like this in the VIX in quite a while. I mean, a month ago, we saw that big pump and dump, and things seem to recover relatively quickly. So just eyes on this at the moment. You can see they are simply filling this wick right now, and maybe something to be concerned about. But in terms of the S&P, we are moving into the first of two big bounce zones now that we've closed under the 50-day MA. So I think we can say a little bit bearish for the S&P. We've closed underneath it. Any pumps here to the upside, possibly bearish, possible rejections coming up for us. Okay, so we'll just monitor this step by step, day to day. But what we can see here, 6,530 is going to be your first line of support, and then 6,430 is going to be the next one. And you can see in terms of our oscillator, this thing is dropping fast. So I am expecting some kind of recovery bounce around the corner. Okay, so I don't think they're going to let the S&P drop this hard for too long. I mean, guys, I don't know your thoughts on where we are. I know, Jay, you look at the NASDAQ pretty much every day, but we 5% down here on the highs S&P. Where are you on the NASDAQ? What do you see?
Well, for the S&P, we're currently like 2% down, I think, from the all-time high, if I'm not mistaken. And we're starting to see some interesting things happen actually on the S&P, where we've seen 4 days this quarter that we've dropped more than 1%. And this is what has happened previous times when we've had serious liquidity issues in the market. In the previous quarter, S&P has actually only fallen 1% down. So this quarter is actually quite bearish in consideration that the fourth quarter is actually supposed to be the most bullish.
Okay, well, where's our Santa rally, guys? Look, I think we're going to get something like that. But in terms of if anybody wants to try long the S&P with me, these seem to be the zones where I expect the market to come and bounce this. Okay, and you can keep your bearish hat on and whatever you want to do. But in terms of dead cat bounces in these types of conditions, we sometimes get some absolute rippers out of the market. The issue is going to be maintaining the FOMO and the greed when you get the pumps, and obviously closing these things when you get these moves. Okay, I love how the mic covers Dylan's shirt partially, so it reads anger. Guys, it is an anger shirt. Did you not know that? It is. Okay, wait, they're just kidding. JK, it's banger. Okay, guys, let's talk stocks that I'm interested in at the moment. MicroStrategy, this thing has been going to zero for the last while. Average entry 74K. They've got gazillions of this stuff. What happens? Just quick question. What happens, guys, when Bitcoin goes to 70K?
Nice. We buy.
What happens?
He's done some creative accounting here, though, and basically the way that he's structured this, that stuff's not up for renewal till 2028. He's played some games that even if it drops below, there isn't this liquidation level that people think there is. If it went down to maybe 20K, that'd be different. But yeah, 70 it's still not gonna be pretty though.
Okay, well, guys, there you go. Let's see how things. I mean, there is going to be pressure. There's going to be tons of pressure. But in terms of MicroStrategy, I'm basically digging myself out of the hole here. We got our bounce finally. I sincerely hope some of you guys took this trade with me. I have been covering it for, I don't know, a week or so. So we're getting our bounce off our macro 786 and proof once again that a shitcoin play in the stock market ties in perfectly with an altcoin shitcoin. Okay, so bouncing off the 786, nice little move here. Could be a short-term play. I mean, if anything, we could get 20-30% on this MicroStrategy or not, or we can get absolutely rinsed. But this is my current situation here on BTCC, and MicroStrategy was negative $2,200. It's now, where am I? It's now at a negative 100. Okay, so we're making a miraculous recovery here while the market pumps. You can see I'm long Coinbase as well, and I've started buying the Circle situation too. So let's take a look at Coinbase. Why do I like Coinbase? We're sitting on a macro 618. Okay, so just like the way we trade BTC and some of these altcoins, that's a macro 618. So 257 for me, down into about 240 makes sense for a possible bounce here. So if we get another dip in Bitcoin, I expect some pressure on some of these tokens or some of these stocks, and that is the zone for me where we are looking for longs. Now remember, in Chart Hackers, we don't just trade crypto and stuff like that. We got stocks as well, and I did drop these setups in the Chart Hackers Discord. And reminder, muscles over here, if you guys fancy yourself as scalpers or as day traders and things like that, muscles here does NASDAQ, gold, what's
Dow Jones. I've actually got a trade for them tonight. I've got 2 trades, a long and a short for Dow Jones for tomorrow, especially with the earnings coming out. And I have a gold trade as well for them tonight.
Absolutely fantastic. Okay, so guys, that is what's going down in the Chart Hackers. It's way more than that. So I do have a Black Friday special for you guys coming for Chart Hackers. So make sure you are watching here in a couple of minutes. We'll cover that now. And then I've also got a bit funded stuff happening here for you guys. Okay, now before we get into the next stuff, Mr. 𝗏𝗧𝗔𝗥𝗧𝗏 has got something to say quickly here.
You want me to tell them to like and subscribe or something? Are they that thick? Hey guys, you know, if you like and subscribe, Dylan feels better about himself. Give the big guy a boost. He could use it.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, it's fine. Like, I got somebody to talk on my behalf now. It's amazing. He can say what I really want to say. Okay, so guys, there's Coinbase. Longs for me here on BTCC. And reminder, guys, BitGet are running a special at the moment. They've got 0 fee stock trading. Okay, so if you want to give it a go, Chart Hackers members, there's a link for you in the Chart Hackers Discord. Remember, if you're a Chart Hackers member, you're going to get special deals and things from our various exchange partners. So Chart Hackers members, sign up with the link in the Chart Hackers Discord. If you're not in the Chart Hackers Discord, guys, sign up with the link in the show description, and you can trade this promotion here on 0 fees at the moment on some of these stocks. Okay, another one for me is the Circle. I just couldn't resist. In fact, one of our Chart Hackers members at the Hackers Get Together, Malik, is trading Circle at the moment, and he's been accumulating some of this, and it makes sense. It looks like it's worth a crack here. Okay, I mean, this thing's been absolutely decimated, and I thought at $77, give or take, it's worth a look. Now, obviously, you know, if you're down whatever percentage, let's see how deep we are here. If you're down 74%, doesn't necessarily mean we can't go down another 74%. But in terms of this thing looking good and a possible crypto bounce coming, might be worth a play. Okay, so I've taken that long as well on Circle. Now you can do those, guys. A reminder, BitGet and BTCC, you can trade these things. Now, here's an interesting comment from Emperor Osmo. He says, clearly something broke on the 10th of October. He's still waiting on the bodies to float. He says OI is down 29%. He says Bitcoin down 25, will bottom eventually, but not before open interest sees a meaningful and sustained recovery. Okay, so he's looking for those types of signals. Jay, you were saying earlier, you're not sure where the money's coming from, things like that. Yeah. What is your view here? Are these buyers going to ever come back, or are they gone?
I think they will come back. I just think everyone's timing in this market is wrong. Like, they were expecting this fourth quarter to be super bullish, and it's literally been the complete opposite. So I do believe that the first quarter will be bullish again. If you have a look at BTC on the quarterly time frame, there's a beautiful pattern that's actually occurred there, where we've had 2 quarters bullish and then 1 quarter bearish. And this has happened since 2023, and this pattern still remains true. So that's why I do think that January we will have some sort of, you know, pump. Whether we'll go to an all-time high or not is irrelevant to us. But yeah, for quarter 4 at the moment, it's still pretty bearish, and the yearly candle still looks like it will close bearish as well.
Yeah, so guys, I think, look, overall, it's rough. Like, the important thing about this 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃's channel, most importantly, the 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃's Discord, is, like, it doesn't matter, like, up or down, whatever's going on, bear market or not, okay? We trading these zones, we're getting these levels. Look what I dropped here. I dropped this obviously in the 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃's Discord yesterday late when the market was collapsing. I was in there dropping charts, but I covered this one on X as well, and it dropped into our upper band there, into that yellow circle, that 88,800 zone. Was a big one for me for the top of that move. So my current plan, and I'm keen to hear what Jay has to say here as well before we get into these altcoins, is that this bounce for me is going to be some kind of dead cat, okay? Whether it reverses here at 96 or whether it reverses at Ben Cowan's, what does happiness call this? The 50-week MA. At 102. Otherwise, we've got our 50-day MA 109. We've got our 200-day at 110. It's all irrelevant. Like, this is going to be some kind of bearish retest or whatever, and then possibly some drop to the downside. Now, when that happens, obviously, we want to be prepped. We also want to understand where our next bounce zone is. And if this move does play out for us, we're most likely looking at a dip into at least this 85K zone. You guys know how much I love a 786 fib. You guys know how much I love reactions of those types of levels. So 85K, give or take, is a big one. And then naturally, if we hit that zone, guys, we got to start looking at our backup levels. And the obvious play then for me is going to be around about that 75K. So in terms of the bounce you're seeing now, if the shit hits the fan again, you most likely see something like this with the market. You'll get another bounce to the upside from there. And then if we do drop again and we bring it down here, we'll get another bounce in that area. So it's nothing to really panic about. We just really need to try and be really sharp on our rejection zones when the market does pump, and we need to manage our euphoria, which is the most important thing. And I think as traders, we all deal with that sometimes. When the gains are really stacking up, market is nice and green, you get into denial and you don't want to look for those shorts and get out. Now, I think Jay and the rest of the team, we're going to hold all of ourselves accountable in these types of situations, and we're going to make sure that we are not getting overextended in bullishness, okay, if the pumpage comes right. And we'll make sure you guys are covered. James, I like that smile in your green shirt there. Maybe you must change it there, sir. James is like it. Okay.
Team versus James. Yeah.
Okay, so guys, let's do some admin quickly. Obviously, it's Black Friday is around the corner, as you guys know. And what does that mean? You often get a lot of deals on pretty much everything. Okay, so there's a couple of things from me. Number one is the 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃's yearly discount is available now for the next, I think it's the next 7 or 10 days. I'm going to show you that in a second. So you can buy a yearly subscription to the 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃's Discord, and you'll be locked in for a year. Okay, so you'll get a big discount on that. Then we've got Bitfunded. They're doing buy 3 get James. It was buy 3 get 6. It was buy 3 get 3. Buy 3 get 6. Okay, so a big deal happening on Bitfunded, and I'm going to bring you guys an indicator pack essentials discount as well. As you know, I trade with all these indicators and stuff, so I'm getting that prepped for you guys. At the moment, it's not available just yet. So if you wanted to buy the indicator, just wait another day or so. We'll make sure that is in the link. Now, Frank, Amsterdam was a banger. And if you're in the 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃's Discord, you can go into the chats and you can see who was in the Amsterdam chats there with us. And I'm sure they'll drop tons of photos and some info there for you guys. It was an amazing event, and looking forward to the next one. Actually, I can't actually wait. So here's the Black Friday situation, 44% off. There you go. So you're going to buy the 1 year pack for you guys, and there's everything that's going on obviously in the Hackers Discord. Now remember, the price for Hackers has gone up. It is now $149, but not if you are already in Chart Hackers. So all my existing members, we've got you. Okay, you guys are covered. You're never going to pay more than the 99 that you are paying already, so don't worry about that. You guys are locked in. You guys are sorted. Okay, I see Nagel's in the house. That man misbehaved in Amsterdam. Wow, there was levels of misbehavior there. And then the other Black Friday situation, guys. Here's the Black Friday promo for Bitfunded. Okay, so they're basically throwing tons of these challenges at you. Buy 3, get 3 free. Okay, buy 3 of the 50K, get 3 50K free. Okay, so there you go, guys. You can jump into the link in the show description. Remember everything I talk about. Let me scroll all the way right on the super slow Firefox. Wow, I get boomer vibes when I play with these browsers. Okay, there it is. Okay, you go into the show description, you click on more, and there it is waiting for you. All the information is there under the show description for you guys. Okay, now, admin is over. Can we finally get into trading shitcoins? Okay, let's go. No, let me just zoom all the way back. Here we go. Ooh, zoom all the way back. Let's go back. There we go. Okay, so Bitcoin. Wow, guys, we're breaking out here. There's action. Okay. Oh, my short's getting a bit rinsed, but my long is absolutely cooking. I'm trading these on BitGet. Oh, geez, look at this ETH, bro. Jay, how's this ETH? Where's he hiding? Where's this guy hiding? I told them in my WhatsApp group earlier today. It's for the children. It's literally for the children. They got to make dad.
I longed it on Bitfunded.
Thank you. They're going to put daddy in a better mood. And I think ETH is going to do that now. I'm making back all these losses from getting chopped up now in the last couple of days. Yeah, accelerated gains. Okay, so ETH, I'm long 150K. Sol, I'm long, doesn't say the amount, 377 Sol. 13,900 Sui, however much that is. ZK, that was a trade I gave in the Charthackers Discord earlier today. That thing is now starting to move a little bit. And Bitcoin, you can see I'm long here at the moment, just under one Bitcoin, and I've hedged that short. But now I feel like I'm going to get caned. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding to that short as we move into the big levels, and we'll start closing that long out, and then we'll see if we get the rollover. Okay. And no, 𝗵𝗆𝗆, you can register for Hackers Monthly. Yes, sir, you can. It's just the Black Friday deal is obviously for a yearly situation. Okay, let's talk alts. Let's get into this. Dominance has been dropping all day, which is pretty much the reason why everyone still has undies on at the moment, and these alts didn't get absolutely destroyed. Look at this dominance dropping into our danger zone. So the danger zones at the moment, guys, they are 58.8. We've got 58.6, and we've got 58.3% as your danger bounce zones here for Bitcoin dominance, and that is where you need to be cautious with some of your altcoins. But in terms of that, it's looking good. We've lost the 50-day MA. That's good for altcoins, guys, and even if it means they get less rinsed, okay, it is looking good there in terms of the alts. USDT dominance as well. We at our major resistance zone. Yesterday I spoke about getting a wick through the upside, which, as you can see, they have now given us that little sneaky wick, and hopefully you can see that red wick over there. We were looking for that push through, and hopefully now we are going to get some kind of dip on USDT dominance. And reminder, it doesn't have to be a big one for us to get a nice pump in the market. They could literally drop it to 5.52%, and we could get a really nice move and make some nice profits and jump out of some of these alts, and then possibly get that bounce again on USDT dominance. But so far, so good. And just a lesson again, guys, remember when these bounces come around, and we know lately they've been super short-lived. The trading conditions have been brutal out there. It's been very challenging unless you like 2 or 3% short moves in the market, which I personally haven't been chasing. So I dealt with a lot of chop along the way. It was very frustrating. But remember, when the market is red like that, things are falling over, fear and greed is going at 10. You really need to start looking for some kind of long. You don't want to be shorting support when fear and greed is on 10, because that is now the result of a little bit of a squeeze and a push up, and all those bears are now getting rinsed out. Okay, so just remember that you want to short green candles, you want to long the red ones as much as possible. Just like Jay, just like Muscles over there likes to do as well. Okay, so Jay, I'm going to cover ETH and Sol. I've got Zcash, I've got Pump. I mean, I've got so much stuff here for you guys. You want to give a trade for later on the Nasdaq?
Yeah, so I've got Dow Jones, I've got gold, I've got Arweave, Render. There's a breakout happening right now on Farcoin as well. It depends on what you like. Whatever the
Okay, well, give us. I mean, you just say to go long Farcoin. Okay.
Yeah, sure. We can go long Farcoin and Arweave. Yeah.
Chart out. Okay, so get Jay's chart out quickly, guys. So, you know what? We're going to be here for a while tonight. Okay, so fucking buckle up, guys. Okay, there's going to be timestamps if you want to jump through to all of the things. I don't mind if you watch me on 1.5x. Just don't watch me on 2x later on. Okay, so we'll be here a long time. We'll make sure you have setups. Okay. Let's get Jay's trade out here and let's see what we can long, bro. Whoa.
Yeah, sure. So I dropped this one in our Chart Hackers Discord. So you guys, you know, you always get those perfect entries when you're in the Discord. But currently now, Arweave has had a massive sell-off. I didn't realize actually how hard this absolute shitcoin pumped and then dumped, you know, from here. And now we're starting to see the RSI starting to reset here, and it's come back to the POC here with this beautiful horizontal support here. So I have taken this as well as on a Bitfunder trade as well. So you can trade Arweave on Bitfunder as well, guys. So I have taken this on WEX as well as on Bitfunder. So the entry is now for Arweave. If you guys haven't entered from the Discord group, and then your TP1 will be back at the 50-day SMA, which will be around 4.7. And then I'm hoping, if we do get some sort of little bit of move, maybe 97, 98 on BTC, then we'll able to get to that full TP, beautiful undercarriage. And we know how the boss loves a beautiful undercarriage and a 786. So this, guys, is a really good entry. This is also value area high. We have all those anchored VWAPs from the highs. They will tie in nicely here, for that point of control and some sort of resistance here for 𝗏𝗏𝗏.
So Jay, if they're jumping in now, what are their stop options in case the market dips now? What is their safest exit plans? Just give me
the safest exit plan will be under this 4-hour low. So it is around a 3 to 4% stop loss from current buy. So if you guys would like to, how I would play this now is I would do some sort of layer in orders where I would do a market buy now, and then I would do around 2% dip and another 2% dip. And that will layer me in nicely and then be able to protect me to the downside. But we don't really want to be losing this 4-hour low over here, which is around 4.182 on 𝗏𝗏𝗏. So this is the POC, this is the horizontal support, this is the rising trend and the bullish retest over here. So I really don't want to be losing this formation here, and this is the move upwards. If it does lose this 4-hour low, I will be cutting this trade and no longer even needing to hold it to the stop loss.
Okay, nice. So I'm just plugging it in now in BitGet. Let me show you guys what I'm doing here. And I'm so happy that I've got BitGet here as an exchange partner. They really are a smooth operator. And what I've done here is for 𝗏𝗏𝗏, I've made it an isolated position here. I've got 4.3, okay, where I've set a limit order just in case there's a dip. Obviously, if you're longing it now, like Jay said, you know where your protection is. You can see you've got about a 4% risk to the downside. I'm just setting a little limit order here in an isolated position because I'm already in quite a few positions here, and I don't want to go and chase. As you can see on 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏, I'm like I'm pretty loaded up here at the moment. So I think I might have enough positions. So if they do drop it a little bit, I'm going to pick up a little bit of this 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 here. So I've done it isolated. Now remember, you can trade isolated and cross on all of these exchanges. You can also just switch it to cross there if you're ready. And you can see a lot of these other trades I'm running on cross as well. Look at that. ZK is on cross. ETH is on cross, which allows me to be short and long at the same time and have tons of fun along the way. Okay, so 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is locked in. What was the Altcoin breakout? Is there something there?
There is a bit of I wanted a small dip on Altcoin back into that 786 and trend. I didn't want to say that too early into the show in case you got too aroused, pre-markets coming to the show. But here currently, Altcoin is on a little bit of a mission of its own. It has bounced off that POC, and it is going to be coming into this fair value gap. And so currently right now, the play is moving. I have given this to the chart hackers, but if there is any dip down into the 0.5 fib, guys, which will be around 24.74 on Altcoin, then I'll be interested to take another long. But yeah, the trade is almost done. This thing has rocketed off since we are in a show, and now it's on its own little mission here.
It's hard not to try and long this candle, I must say.
It's very hard. I mean, it has moved well. And I can't believe that Altcoin is at 24 cents. Remember when we were looking at this thing at like 78 cents, 80 cents? I just can't believe how some of these.
I don't even want to mention the word PopCat here in this space. It might even melt my microphone. But PopCat was at 10 cents or something, or 10 or whatever. Not 10 cents. It was like a 10. It's very difficult. I'm looking at Altcoin here on 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏. It's very difficult to not long the top of this candle.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys have a DGen accounts, like on 𝗬𝗏𝗏𝗏.
It's taking all sorts of self-control at the moment. Okay, guys, we're going to look at some of these trades because I've dropped them in the chart hackers Discord today as well. That Zcash was an absolute banger, and the Zcash, what I loved about that is the hot zone indicator never fucking lets me down. Look at this thing. Where's Zcash here? Look here. I dropped this in earlier in the chart hackers. I had a lot of time for the Discord today. I was rocking it here. Look at this. Here's Zcash. Okay, they printed the eggplant at 546. Okay, when the hot zone indicator prints the eggplant, you pay attention. Okay, and what happens to Zcash? It drops into the slot. And let's just talk about this one quickly. Drops into the slot. Thank you so much. And a nice little explosion there. Thanks to the eggplant on my hot zone indicator. Now we've got bullish divergence printing on the 2-hour, and we are moving into our first resistance zone. So anybody who took the trade with me, okay, remember, this is now a rejection zone. This is a bearish retest zone. And let's ask James. Should I close the whole thing, James?
50%.
No. Should I close the whole thing, James?
No. Leave it running.
You're saying I must leave it open and round trip?
Leave it running.
Is that what you...
That's it. Round trip.
Okay, so James is locking me in for a round trip on Zcash. Okay, we're 175% up on this one. Okay, a little pumper there. So look, we'll deal with it as we go. Now let's get into some of these altcoins. Let's break this stuff down. I can't believe James wants to round trip me. I'm like, I don't know what to say anymore. I mean, why didn't he just say something logical like close half? I mean, James, why are you doing that?
I did say close half, and you're like, no, one or the other.
We'll bring him back just now. He must go think about it. Okay, so ETH, guys, interestingly, yesterday, what did we see? We saw Bitcoin dropping into that big corresponding macro zone, and we saw ETH lagging. Why was ETH lagging in the dump? Because dominance was absolutely shitting the bed, and that is what saved a lot of these altcoins. And for me, I was very surprised. I had limit orders waiting for ETH at 2760, 2700, and 2680. I was ready to go. Okay, last night I couldn't wait. I was licking my lips, and this morning I woke up and we hadn't hit the zone. So I had to jump into ETH on a momentum basis rather and start longing a couple of green candles. Fortunately, this time it has obviously worked out and it is nicely moving. But in terms of where ETH goes next and in terms of my current view, like, is the real bottom of the market for me? I'm asking myself this question out loud when ETH actually hits 2750, because for me, I like to see these altcoins hit macro fibs to signal some kind of local bottom. I also like to see a capitulation wick. I like to see a flush out in the market. And for me, the market bottom or the local bottom is going to be at that 2750 where we can get some kind of sustained move. So I'm very suspicious at the moment on a lot of these moves. And we're going to be careful. So what I'm going to give you now, guys, is a breakdown on some of these alts. You can see higher time frame. We're going to talk through them, all the big zones that reacted, and then I'm actually dialing in on a few of them, and I'm going to give you precise rejection zones that I want you to pay attention to as we move up into these areas. And these are going to be take profit zones. These are going to be head short zones as well to cover your ass, okay, if things start falling over. And let's just do this without as much FOMO as possible. Okay, so let's go ETH. So ETH, as you can see, it's cooking nicely here, but again, this market can flip bearish at any moment in time. So what do I want to do? I want to look at my lower time frame charts, and I want to pay attention to some key levels here where we can make rational decisions. Now, as you can see, ETH is pumping, it's blowing through the VWAP, and in terms of my first big danger zone, 3,200 into 3,250, this looks like a problem area for me on ETH. So if we pump higher, that could be a region where you start banging out some hedges again, okay, something like that. And or you can look for some shorts in that area. Then alternatively, the next big one for me, 3,300, and then you've got your next one at 3,385. Now, if ETH pushes into 3,385, you are dealing with a major marker here. There's a VWAP from the highs. We've got our 200-day MA as well at around about 3,400, and you need to pay attention. If you wick into that area, it could be quite a horrible sell-off, okay, in the market. So just remember, as things go, you want to be clipping along the way or hedging yourself in case things fall over, and possibly another 7%, but I'd say 2.6% up would be reasonable from here, maybe even 5%. Could be a fun ride. Okay, so guys, remember, all these charts straight after the show, they go into the Chart Hackers Discord for you. You can find them all there, including Jay's charts, as well as his trade that he's going to give you guys in a couple of minutes. Okay, so there is ETH. That's the game plan on ETH. Let's talk Sol. So do you remember this when Sol was at 130 in 2024? Yeah. Now, Sol at 130, and I mean, we feel the pain. But guys, I just want to say again, like, the importance of like these macro fibs. And like, I was in the Discord last night dropping these levels, just telling the guys to hang in there and hold strong. When the market is dropping like that, it's terrifying, okay? But remember, when the market is terrifying like that, you need to start making these decisions on these big areas where you can push some buttons. And Sol was an absolute banger, okay? 129, look at that, on the 786 for the bounce. You cannot make this shit up. It happens time and time again. Simple macro fibs, guys. It's basic TA. And you can obviously, I mean, you watch the show, guys. Really, if you're not using fibs for at least a guide in your trading strategy, you know, you are missing out on stuff like that. Look at this fib here. Look at that, exactly on the fib. I mean, you cannot You cannot make that shit up. Okay, so a beautiful bounce so far for Solana. We are obviously locked in that long there. We've got bullish divergence printing on the daily, so things are looking nice. But Jay, where you gone, bro? Why are you running away again? So things are looking nice for Sol, but what is the actual situation? So what we can see is 50-day MA coming down, 200-day. Okay, everybody knows this is the death cross. Why is it scary? Because you can see the trend changes when these things happen. Now it's going down. So what effectively could happen here is some kind of move to the upside on Sol and potentially a test of that death cross and then a little bit more downside. Now, I don't want to get too ahead of myself because the market could literally roll over at the next couple of levels I give you. But in terms of, max hopium, I would say at an absolute push here, Solana 170 to 180 is absolute max here for me based on what I'm looking at here at the moment. That'll also hit that VWAP from the highs. Okay, so that is the extreme levels on Sol, and the peak euphoria up here, okay, would be something to behold. And now, in terms of lower time frame, let's try and understand where we can get some rejections here on Sol. So you can see we've had our bounce off our 786, and the standard play now is to track the bull zone for continuation. Okay, so what you want to do is drag your fib up from the lows, and you want to tie it in with your VWAP, so you can see immediately anybody that's missed this move, you can see straight away there's your local bull zone. So 135 now is locked in for you for Sol as your first line of degen support that you can use for fresh long. So if, for example, the market pulls back and you still have a bullish bias, you're going to look for something like that, and you're going to long it off that bull zone at 135, 136, give or take. Okay, now as Sol pushes higher, the risk of a rejection starts increasing, and you can see here I've labeled this danger zone. What have I got here? I've got an order block, I've got a 382, I've got horizontals, I've got VWAP, so we can see immediately anything from 140 into 145 is a potential danger zone here, and could be an incredible TP zone, could be an incredible head short zone here to take advantage of any moves or big rejections on Bitcoin in the market to send us lower. So zone number one, that is in play. Then zone number two, 150. Look at this region over here. This is our 0.5. Look at our undercarriage in that zone as well. So that tells me that is also quite a big danger zone on Sol. So don't be surprised if we pump into those areas and we reverse. Then after that, we're going to look to hold these bull zones. If the bull zones fail, well, then we start tracking back and we start looking at things like 110. We start looking at things like 98. Would you buy Sol at 98, Joe?
Yes, sir. Why not?
Like
it's a good zone to, it's a good
like
zone.
James, would you buy Sol at 98, sir?
I guess you kind of have to, don't you? I mean, it's such a big area, but man, market's going to be disgusting at that point.
Oh, it will be such filth. It will be absolute filth. But yeah, I mean, look, everyone will be panicking at 98, I'm sure, saying lower.
Yeah, XRP will still be $1,000 probably at that point.
Exactly. Bullish on XRP, guys. Yeah, no, XRP will be fine. Everything's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk a couple of other things going on here. Oh, look, I haven't round trip Zcash yet. It's a miracle. It's still going. SPX now. I want to talk to you guys about SPX because if Sol kicks on, SPX might be this dark horse that rips 30% here. James, you see, I remembered early doors here. So guys, we got to lock into this SPX. You can see I'm sniffing around in a small position at the moment. There might be another dip for us to grab some more, but you can see I'm locked in some SPX at the moment. You can see I'm short hype, and now I'm never really short hype, but the hype short today, the short setup on hype was just too sexy to ignore. And I'm going to show you that hype short setup and take you through that, and a possible bounce coming though for hype in a couple of minutes. What else have we got here? We've got pump. Pump is pumping, okay, straight out of our zone there. Super short. I'm probably going to get rinsed here. This thing's starting to turn a little bit red. 𝗬𝗃 from yesterday hung on to that thing. Look at Aero, guys. Absolute banger out of the zone. Who got Aero? I mean, I like forgot about all these things. Did you get some Aero?
Yep. We got Aero yesterday, yeah.
I really hope you guys got... Jeez, we hit some levels yesterday. Wow. We hit some proper levels. Okay, so just finishing on Zcash, agree. Okay, Mario Norfolk, he says it looks heavy. Okay, what's your view on a short? Yeah, I mean, it's a bearish retest at the moment, but I agree it looks heavy. So guys, let's just be careful on this thing. But right now, that is a bearish retest. 615. just be careful, okay? Potentially rolling over. Let's talk pump again. Still lots of news on pump. They're buying more tokens. Remember, they got their whole buyback situation, that sort of thing. So pump is obviously, technically quite a bullish thing, whether they're buying it themselves or you know what I mean. You know the deal. But at the moment, pump hit what front ran our zone. To be fair, I had limit orders at 27. I had limit orders at 23, and it front ran that zone a little bit. So I had to play a little bit of momentum. We hit 27.80. Okay, but it was obviously going to be a reaction zone, and you can see now that head and shoulders did eventually play out quite nicely. And when it does, you typically get a move into your next major zone. Okay, and Sam 420 says he never misses the Discord calls. Guys, there's so many in there. I don't know. I can't keep up with all of that. It's like,
no, I miss a couple occasionally because there's a lot of calls.
Yeah, there's a lot. Okay, so guys, in terms of pump, what do we do now? So as you can see, that's a head and shoulders. That's major support on pump. So what is the logical move for me? If I look at this thing and, I say, okay, what is the next possible plan on pump? This is the move, okay? A push back into the range, back into the neckline, some kind of horrible rejection, and then they send us lower. So looking at that, it looks like a rejection. They're going to get you just bullish enough to say that the bear market is over and we're pumping again. They're going to push you into this head and shoulders, and then there's going to be a possible rejection. So look out for that. That is obviously on part of my plan. And in the short term, we can see I've broken pump down into a much lower time frame, and you can see the story coming together over here. So I just want to highlight a couple of danger zones for anybody trading pump at the moment. There's a trend, okay? So you know what's going to happen if you break the trend. Everybody's going to start screaming that this thing is going to start ripping higher, and it could potentially obviously go. But what I would say is, guys, that is your big danger zone. So 36 into even 38, 36 into 38 is a danger zone there for me on pump. So look out if you're riding this thing. That is where you need to be super cautious. Anywhere in that type of region, 36 to 38, that could be the short that takes you to 24, for example. Okay, and Mia says she's going to long bonk if Sol goes to 198. I reckon if Sol goes to 198 from here, bonk's going to rip already by 30-40%. So you might be longing the top potentially.
I was going to say, have you looked at bonk here? Just if Sol's showing strength, that's usually one of the go-tos as well.
Which one? Whiff.
Bonk.
Yes.
Bonk.
Oh, bonk, yeah, bonk,
Oh.
bonk or whiff. Yeah. I see Jay Smith says, can't find the monthly subscription package for Hackers Discord in the Accelerator website. Go to the Chart Hackers link, guys. Go here. Okay, so go into the Chart Hackers link. Okay, which is in the show description. So go into the show description there, bang. Okay, click on more, and then you can see Chart Hackers is sitting here. Chart Hackers Black Friday delivery accelerator school. It should be there at the top of that link. Okay, and look, if it's not, it's going to miraculously appear. Okay, in the next couple of minutes, it's just going to go poof and appear
He's
there.
saying he can find it. He just can't find the monthly option, I think, is the issue. He's there. He can't find the monthly option. There is a monthly that's in there, is there not?
There is a monthly, but it's not subject to the Black Friday deal. That's probably what the issue is. Okay, so we'll make that appear there for you guys. Okay, and Adil says, Jay, can we look at Brett? Yeah, look at Brett for us, Jay. I mean, I actually longed and closed that thing yesterday, but it's cooking again. Have you been watching Brett, Jay?
I did actually give them a possible retest. It did move about 12% today. It did come back to a beautiful horizontal support. I haven't looked at it today.
Well, I gave them this yesterday. I mean, there was pressure. There was proper pressure. But funnily enough, this morning, Brett was the biggest mover out of my bag that I had. I don't know what was going on there. Maybe a monster squeeze. But this thing absolutely ripped off that 786, guys. Look at that. Decent bounce zone. 786. Absolute banger there. Okay, let's talk... Okay, so pump, guys, you know the drill. Okay, looking for shorts up there. That's a high probability rejection zone. Let's talk hype. Okay, why is hype going to zero? I love a bit of hype. I love longing hype.
That really fell over, huh?
It's fucked. Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
So yeah, maybe there's some news on there. We'll have to go fish around. But I guess sometimes you see big news events happen when these tokens push into a 200-day, a 50-day MA, and a big horizontal, and no difference here today. Look at that, pumped into the zone. I gave it to the hackers earlier this morning. I said there's a bearish divergence in play here. We at major resistance. There's a good possibility that this thing is gonna roll over. Okay, so it was a very simple short play there on hype. Now, in terms of possible bounce zones, what do you want to do? You're looking for a reset on the 1 hour oscillator, which is around the corner. It looks like in the next couple of hours. And what you can do there, if you are hunting some kind of bounce, you just want to bang out your trend, bang like that. And then you want to see what we have next in terms of bounce zones. So let's look at our 618786. Let's see where this thing could possibly bounce. And you can see your first area of interest is going to be 38.2. Okay, so 38.2, you can see we just front running that zone at the moment. So 38.2 is a bounce zone on hype and a possible TP zone for anybody in that short. And then 37.2 is going to be the next one. I'd say, you kind of want to be out of that short by then, especially if the market is still relatively bullish. Hype will catch up quickly. Okay, hype delayed some voting for something until next year. Oh, okay.
Maybe that's why, because that's pretty hard drop for hype.
Brutal. Okay, kicking the can down the road. Now, guys, don't forget about 𝗬𝗵𝗿, also a banger from yesterday. Okay, they've now launched an app. There's obviously all sorts of shit going down on 𝗬𝗵𝗿 at the moment, but in terms of the big zone here, this 172 region, they're fighting this area, so we're not going to hang on too long on 𝗬𝗵𝗿. You can see 149.5 is the next zone. Current zone is 172 as support. If it pushes higher, guys, again, no euphoria allowed. We are in a downtrend. Okay, so any moves to the upside tells me that we need to be hedging ourselves or getting out of some of these positions. Okay, obviously if the trend breaks, that's great, then we play the breakouts, we do that thing, we long the top, we do whatever we need to do. But in terms of if you make accelerated gains in the next day or two, take some profits. Okay, make sure you are hedged and close half, like James always says. Must I close
Secure
half?
some profit and let the rest ride.
Round trip? No, Zcash is still going. Okay, I got to close this thing soon. Okay, let's go. Okay, I've got Asta. We're going to go through quickly, guys. Asta, Aero, Virtual, Uni, 𝗏𝗏, SP. My God, I got too much. Okay, Jay, give us something, bro, and then I'm going to go through the rest here.
Cool, perfect.
Okay, guys, hang in there. I know we're going on a bit long today, but I want you guys to get full value here. There's tons of tokens. There's lots of updates from yesterday. Okay, I'm sure Jay and James don't mind hanging out. Okay, Jay, give us a couple of things here.
Cool. So I've got something different for you guys, just to show you that we don't always, trade crypto assets. We can trade literally anything. But normally on a Monday and a Wednesday, we do live trading. And what I do with these assets, I trade NASDAQ, Dow Jones, and then BTC all side by side. And the great thing about these assets is they kind of move in this 1-to-1 direction with each other. And this is the Dow Jones. And if you have a look at this, boss, on the 3-day, have a look at our beautiful RSI over here at the top. Now, I mean, the last time that the Dow Jones had this type of spiderweb sexiness here at the top, it had a massive dump towards the downside. And now we're starting to see this triple bearish divergence on the 3-day as well. So looking at the 3-day candle here on Dow Jones, we have seen this engulfing candle to the downside, and we are seeing this kind of weakness. It's the first 5 days that we've seen a 4% drop on the Dow Jones, which is over 2,000 points. So this is a massive, massive move. And this is why you're also seeing, BTC shit the bed completely. So this is why we still possibly think, and Mr. Lickies also thinks that 85K might be still, on the table. Because, looking at the Dow Jones, it really looks like it's going to shit the bed. There is no question about it. And if Dow Jones drops as well as NASDAQ drops, BTC is also going to go to hell. And we'll all have to wear new underpants t-shirts.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Okay, so what is our game plan here?
The game plan is that tomorrow there will be obviously some big news that comes out. So I'm only going to play the extremities of here. I'm not going to try and pick the top or pick the bottom. So I've got a beautiful horizontal support here, touch 1, touch 2, touch 3, and this is lining up with our 707 fib here. So I'll be looking for the long trade from, guys, which will be 44,835. So you guys can put a nice alert there. You can also trade this on BTCC. There's a great platform there. You can have up to 20x leverage. And then I'll be taking a TP here. The reason why I want to take the TP here, this will be our 618 fib, as well as a higher low and a beautiful bearish order block sitting right here. If tomorrow the news comes out bullish, they will still come back into the zone and we will get the short then first. So the short zone, guys, is 47,041, and that will line up beautiful with the 0.5 fib, a nice market structure shift to the downside. As price moves down, we come back for that bearish retest and then short all the way back down. The reason why I'm bearish is because here is the 200-day SMA as well as the 50-day SMA. So now we're seeing the close under the 50-day, and generally once you lose the 50, they head towards that 200-day SMA on the Dow Jones. So this for me, guys, is going to be the big short. If you've ever seen that movie, The Big Short, this is basically the same thing that's going to be happening within this market. And if this trade does play out, you will see, make sure that you have a good amount of stop losses for crypto.
Don't talk like that, bro.
It will be a divine bloody day.
Talk to me.
I mean,
okay,
we can see some waterfalls. Yeah, the waterfalls are very romantic.
So guys, just remember, trading is trading, charts are charts. Lines on a chart, whether it's gold or the Dow Jones or whatever, or it's crypto, it's all the same stuff. Okay, and that is why chart hackers, we're pretty diversified in there with how we go about stuff. We've actually got some forex stuff happening in there as well for you guys. And Jay is running some really fun live trading sessions. You're catching those moves for New York and Asia live, and you can trade that with Jay live while it's happening. And if there's enough interest for you guys, I'm prepared to unleash Jay and do some kind of live session for everybody so you can see what it's about. We'll do it in a closed Zoom for everybody watching the show. Okay, so we'll get that going, and you can get to experience what the Hackers members get to deal with pretty much on a daily basis there with Jay. Okay, now PMG George says, is it time to short virtual? Well, I started a virtual hedge short earlier, and I think it's time to actually add to the situation. So let's just jump into virtual here. Why is this interesting to me? So we're pushing into a 50-day moving average. Okay, so this is now a big resistance zone for us. You can see we've also got a little bit of undercarriage action here as well. It has been taken care of once. And remember, I explained to you about pump. What they like to do is they like to bring it back in the range and then drop it back down. So look out for something along those lines. But you can see this is a resistance zone for virtual. So I wouldn't be surprised if this thing does start rolling over a little bit. So if you want to cover yourself, or you want to CYA, which means cover your ass, what you can do is you can use either a close above 1.137, or you can use a close above 1.15 as your possible exit zone. Okay, so if you want to try and short this thing, let me just give you that. Let's see what the size of the risk is here at the moment. That's about wow, it's tiny. Okay, it's about 2%. Okay, about 2% risk here. And if the market does roll over, you'll be glad that you do have a little bit of cover. Okay, so if they do put you under pressure, just look out for that fake out to the upside and then a possible drop. So entries here for me, 1.13 into 1.15 on virtual. Close below or close above 1.15 is going to be an exit plan for me on that guy. Okay, let's talk Asta quickly. Now, there's news around Asta. There's something going on here in terms of an event or whatever. We know this thing is so manipulated. It feels like those OM days with just like complete pumpage. But anyway, let's go for the ride. Okay, what do we know factually about Asta over the last while? It respects the VWAP beautifully. The market makers are obviously tracking that, and they're allowing it to bounce every time it hits a VWAP. So your job is literally to trade Asta off a VWAP until you start closing under that thing consistently. So right now, guys, local bull zone for Asta, 1.29 into 1.25. For me, that is an add-on zone to my long position. I am looking to see if we can get a little bit more size in Asta, because sounds like there's going to be some pumpage over the next while on this guy. Okay, so Asta, watching this closely and really try and get an entry on this thing, guys. Focus on this one. Get your alarms on. Simple exit plan. If you close under, for example, 1.25, any degens out there, if you close under 1.25, you can use that as your cut zone, okay? And then wait and see if it hits that VWAP or that local or the macro VWAP lower down, and just pay attention to this Asta. But I think it's got a little bit more legs for you guys. Now, Aero, oh my God. I mean, it's absolute thing of beauty. This really, like when this stuff plays out, after waiting for days for these things to drop in the zone, look at this. Like, I know in hindsight, it's so simple, but guys, look at this. Order block, wicks, horizontals, 50-day, 0.5 fib, all in play here for you guys. It was like inevitable that we were going to get some kind of reaction here on this arrow. Okay, so nice little bounce here. You can see this thing is starting to turn up now as well on the 8 hour, and this is it's one of our cookers here at the moment. So here we go. It's 28,000 long, and we $2,000 up. Okay, and hopefully we get a little bit more out of this thing now to repair some of the chop damage that I took while I was hungover and drunk in Amsterdam. Okay, so hopefully that is going to fix some of the damage there as we cook along. Now, virtual, okay, we've covered virtual. Guys, uni, the when entry, I'm still sitting in this thing because there's no reason to close. Okay, we've got our support 6.78. You can see that zone and upside rejection zone, anything into about 8.2. You could probably get a short in that area. So right now I'm just chilling in uni. No reason to do anything right now other than just to wait. 8.2, nice exit zone there for me for that little pumper, and that when entry is still valid. Now, what is a when entry? What is this guy talking about? So when entry is basically after every show I drop a high conviction setup for you guys with an entry, a stop loss, and multiple take profits that we put in my channel in the Chart Hackers Discord. Okay, so you will get one of those every day. Not all of them hit, and not all of them are obviously successful, but I take pride in those win entries, and we've got a pretty good hit rate on some of those. Okay, so that is going to happen now directly after the show. I'll make sure that we have a win entry for you guys ready to go. Okay, so that is uni. Let's talk to 𝗬𝗏 again. We've got a halving coming in December, guys. 308, big support here for me. Sweating bullets, obviously sitting in that one yesterday. There was pressure. I had a stop at 306, and fortunately it didn't hit. So now it is still looking okay. So right now, no reason to exit, but yes, there is a possibility they dip this lower, 290. Leading into this halving and possible bullishness coming, I don't think the market makers are going to make it super easy. I don't think it's going to be a free ride. So look out for some more chop. But right now, so far so good. We do have a little bounce here. Okay, so that zone is in play. Then in terms of SPX, I was talking about this in the Chart Hackers Discord today. I think this will make a miraculous recovery if the market goes bullish again, and if Sol starts breaking some levels and consolidating, you might find a lot of these tokens start exploding. Now, just to give you an idea how far these things can move, if this thing pumps to the 50-day MA, it's 100% move. If it goes to the 200-day MA, it's 150% move. Okay, there's some massive upside here. And if you want to do something as simple and try and trade this SPX to even the trend and undercarriage, from the lows there, it's a 22% move. So just in terms of the size and the scope of the swings on some of these alts, it could be quite euphoric. So what I want to say is keep this on your hit list, keep this on your watch list. If this does get a little bit of momentum, there could be a little bit of pumpage. Jay, what's your favorite shitcoin? Is it still Fartcoin to get a big move out of? What do you like?
Definitely not. At the moment, one of the shitcoins I'm loving to trade is Brett. I like Brett at the moment. It's still quite a good mover, especially shorts. It's good for shorting too. It's one of my go-tos for the shorts. I used to really like 𝗬𝗰, and it used to be 𝗬𝗰. 𝗬𝗰 was always my go-to, the one I hit heavy, hard, high leverage. But I would say that it's most likely was hype. I've come to like hype quite a lot recently. It's always giving me the move that I want, but it's always BTC, Solana, Ethereum, and then one shitcoin. So those are my top 4 that I always trade.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that at the moment. I used to be like that with Popcat a lot. And Brett, I used to trade a lot as well. I used to love those things. But yeah, my go-to is always like 𝗬𝗰 is always on my list. But it's so shit lately, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, look, hopefully it will change. ZK, guys, it's in the zone. I gave this trade earlier for the Chart Hackers. There's 4-hour bullish divergence. So it is a little bit above the entry box at the moment. But, that's a relatively good sign here, that bullish divergence. We've got major resistance at 54. But if you want to have a whirl on this on the ZK, possible privacy narrative. Okay, look at your support, 44. Okay, ZK, 44.2. That is your support there. If you want to do something there, low leverage, don't ape too high. You can see the risk is already about 5%. So just be super careful with that one. Ladder in. If there is weakness, you can ladder in to the downside. Okay, so I think we pretty well covered there. We pretty much hit everything at the moment. Sumi broke Adam and Eve. I wish I knew what Adam and Eve. What is Adam and Eve? Why do people? What is this?
It's a pattern. It's a pattern.
Yeah. What is this? What is this thing? Adam and Steve.
No. It's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
Okay, you must educate me. I'd love to know it. I mean, isn't crypto amazing? You can come up with all these fucking weird names. Okay, boys, thank you. That was fun. A little bit longer than expected, but guys, tons of alpha here for you. And there's this stuff happening in the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗃 Discord every single day for you guys. You can find Muscles in there. And like I said, if you behave yourselves, we're going to get Muscles out. And he's going to do a live open trading session for you guys. Everyone can come, and we'll get it sorted out. Okay, so it will be a free session for everybody. Jay, thank you, sir. Good luck with your setups. Jay.
Good luck, everyone.
Oh, wait, shall we ask Mr. 𝗏𝗍𝗃 quickly? Let's ask Mr. 𝗏𝗍𝗃 what his levels are for BTC. Shall we ask him? Shall we ask him quickly? Let's see.
Like you, I'm waiting for this 85K level. It's a macro 786. It has to provide a decent bounce. Is it the bottom? I don't know. All I know is I've taken enough lickies to strip a lollipop.
Okay, guys, there you go. Mr. 𝗏𝗍𝗃 likes 85 as well. Okay, guys, that was fun. As always, see you later.